Okay, so we've opened up Blender here, and I've just gone ahead and deleted the default cube, and we are ready to import our FBX files. So going import FBX. Oh, actually, first we got to make sure we go to our scene settings here, and under units, change them from metric to imperial, and you should see feet under length here. Then we go File, Import FBX file. And we're going to go ahead and import our FBXs right here. Boom. Great. Okay, so the first step is to start adding materials. So first I'm going to go to this one and go to my materials here. Get rid of the one that came in and put in a new one. And I'm going to title it PED. And then I'm going to make it white, basically. So do white, bright white, great. And then I'm going to go ahead and start UV mapping things. So I've got two surfaces on the back, right, for the cover. And I'm going to use the images from my book for that. So let's go ahead and find those images. So we'll click on, first let's do the front cover, and I'm going to go to UV editing. And I also want to check out my wireframes here too, because I can see under my edit mode that I've got a little extra geometry here. So I'm going to tab over, and you know, I want these just to be flat, I think. So let's go ahead and decimate these. So I'm going to add a modifier to decimate this object, planar, and apply. And I'll do the same for this one. Decimate, planar. And actually, I'm going to do it to a few things. So I'm going to do it to this part too. And this part too. And let's look up at the wireframe. Yeah, I'm going to do it to this part too. I think I'm going to leave the pages because the pages will have a nice kind of curve to it. Hopefully it doesn't break those edges. I think it'll hold the edges okay though. And then if I go ahead and just add the modifier again, decimate, planar, it's adding it to the orange area, which is what I want it to do. And then I'm going to go to object, link, and I'm going to go to copy modifiers, and that copies the modifiers to the other parts. And then go to object, convert to mesh, and that applies those modifiers. So now it's a little bit cleaner. All right, so switch back into my regular standard view. Oh, you know what? I'll put it in this rendered view here. Front cover, looking at it over here, I've got tab over to edit mode. Whoops, did I not decimate? These should be decimate. Whatever, fine. I'm just gonna have that extra edge in there, I guess. For some reason, it's not decimating. Decimate, planar. Oh well, it's not a big deal. I can still use that UV map. It just has 3 faces instead of 1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and export this UV layout as a PNG file. And first, actually, you know what? I'm going to create a new object, 1024 by 1024. That's kind of big. I might do 512 by 512 since it's, first of all, on the back of the object, and second of all, it's pretty small. And then I'm going to export this UV layout, and I'm going to call it cover front. PNG is fine. Export it to my book demo. And then I'm going to also do the back one. So tab over, and then tab back, hit A to select the whole thing, and then go again. We'll do a same size. So it has this already set in there by default. If I close this out and then I go new, 512 by 512, you know, that's redundant, but yeah, that just shows you it's working. Cover back, PNG, export. Okay. And now we go to Photoshop and we Photoshop in the image and then place it back on the object. Okay, I don't want to learn anything. Open file, and I'm going to look on my book project. I believe it's in here. No, it's actually in my house folder, book demo. And let's do date modified. Cover, we'll do the front first. Well, let's just open them both, right? Okay. And then let's open up the images we're going to be using. So file, open, and pictures. And these are the two, front and back. Okay. All right, so I'm going to plop this one down. And if this is way too big, you know it's going to be 512 by 512. So I'm going to go ahead and go to image size and change it to pixels. And just go ahead and do it 512. Oops. Yeah, on the small side, whichever the smaller side is, 512. Okay. And then same thing over here. Just kind of put this down here for now. Image size, 512. Duh, I got to do 512 because you want the small end to be 512. Okay, so now we pop these open and grab this image and put it right there, and it should fit pretty well, but I'm going to go Control T and transform it into the space. And don't care about it stretching, that's fine. It'll stretch back out when it is placed on the aspect ratio of the object that we're dealing with. Oops, I forgot to hit enter before I started messing with other stuff. Okay. Enter. And then we'll flatten this image or merge visible, either one, same thing. Okay. And then we're going to go to cover back and pull this off here and go drag and drop. And I'll close this. And no, I don't want to save it. No, I don't want to save it because I want to keep it the same size. Control T and transform it into the size of my UV map. Okay, hit enter, and there we go. Flatten the image. All right, and then close, save, close, save. Minimize, back to our book here. And now we're going to tab over and go to modeling. It's fine. We're done kind of UV mapping that back. And we're going to kind of be hopeful that it's in the right orientation and we don't have to flip it. So let's go to materials, get rid of this one, new one, call it cover front. And we're going to use a base color here of an image texture, open, and we'll use cover front. Just find it on your computer if it's not there. And then switching into this view, it's upside down. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Rhino and I'm going to rotate this thing, flip it over, because what that indicates to me is that when we modeled it, we've got this is going to be upside down, this is going to be upside down, and then later when we get to the video page or the page in Unreal Engine, it's going to be upside down here. So technically, you know what? You don't have to. Let's just do it all here. That's fine. I think it'll rotate fine. So click on this object, go back over to UV editing, and then tab over, select your face selection here, select all 3 faces, and then hit R for rotate, and then just hit 180. And as long as it's reading right. Okay. So tab back over, and we're going to do the other one. We'll come over here. We're going to put a material in here, and it's going to be upside down too, but we're going to just flip these UVs around one at a time. So now we're going to close this one, new, cover back. Image texture. Open, cover back, open, upside down. Okay. So tab back over, select, select, select. Just shift clicking on them, of course. Rotate 180. Okay. And then the last one I want to make sure that I do is this one. I know that my UV map is going to be upside down. So I'm going to actually just apply an image to it, and then we'll get rid of it later. So I'm just going to change this one to cover back or cover front here, so that I can see that it is going all the way across the correct way, because I want to make sure that this UV map is bound properly so that it will work when I put the video on it later on. And I can see that these pages are not working quite right. All right, so looking at this front cover with that image on there, we can see that there's some problems, right? Looking at the UV map, we want this to all be one continuous page so that when we're opening it up and adding a movie to it, it's like a screen, right? Imagine if this was a video screen. It's divided in half, and then you've got like parts of it over here and parts of it over there. It's not quite in the right orientation. So in order to get the movie to work the way we want, we need to design how this is going to go together. So the easiest way to do that, first let's clean up the object a little bit. So I'm going to select this object, just the face here, and tab back over, hit A, and go to mesh, clean up, and I'm going to merge by distance, and that should get rid of some extra vertices and make it all one kind of continuous object. And then if I click down here, you can see I'm going to have sharp edges kind of marked here as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark where I want the UV map to unwrap. So if I switch my mode up here to edge selection and then click on this edge, shift click this edge, come over here, shift click this edge and shift click this edge, and then go to where it says UV up here and go to mark seam. You see they just turned red. This is a really simple example, but an example of marking seams for your UV maps. And think about seams as where it's going to try to create that geometry. So then I'm going to hit A to select all of it. You can see the existing UV map here. And if I'm correct and I click on unwrap here, it makes the book all the way go across there. Okay. And then I do want to rotate this, right? Rotate it 90 degrees. Enter, G, and move it over back into space here. I'm curious. Okay, so it seems like, yeah, so that is going to be the correct direction and everything like that. And then I can also do another thing. I can hit S and Y and stretch it to fill this whole square out. Okay. S, Y, G. I want to get it just so it fills out the whole space without too much overlap. Okay. All right, so it's going the right direction. It's a nice scale, so it fills out the UV map, and we're going to go ahead and just call that fine for now. So tab back over, and now our page is fine. This image, of course, is the wrong image. We're not worried about that. We're just using that to make sure that it's the right size, right direction, and all that kind of stuff. So now the texture goes all the way across without any weirdness, and so the video should play fine when we do the movie later on. Okay, so that's all done. The next step is to just go ahead and if you want to add a material maybe to the binding here, I'll just do a get rid of that one, do a new one, and do black book. And it's just a base color. It's not going to be a big deal. All right, so this all looks good now. We actually want to go ahead and remove this texture from the front there. And we're now ready to start organizing the pages and tweaking the aspect ratios and stuff. So let's go ahead and do that in the next video.